In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Bilbo Baggins was a respected hobbit. He lived a comfortable life and never had any adventures. So Bilbo was rather surprised when Gandalf the wizard invited him on a great adventure. He politely declined. But not before accidentally inviting Gandalf to tea. The next day, Gandalf arrived with 13 hungry dwarves. They ate everything Bilbo had to offer, then sang sad songs and listened to their king, Thorin Oakenshield.
At dawn, we begin the quest of Lonely Mountain. We will win back our ancient kingdom under the mountain, reclaim our treasure, and have revenge on the cursed dragon Smaug.
King Thorin, you need a burglar to steal into Lonely Mountain. Here he is, Bilbo Baggins.
Huh? Oh.
Excitable little fellow, but fierce as a dragon in a pinch.
Where am I? Goblins attacking men and elves. What's this? Well, Baggins, you've dreamt your way into this. You will have to dream your way out.
Well, this is trippy to say the least. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is HerrinPlays, welcoming you to a brand new Let's Play of The Hobbit. This is one of my favorite games from my childhood, and I just had to cover this game. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, but let's go ahead and get things started today by getting through this weird battle, like whatever this is. Now, there's a lot of different moves that we have unlocked right now that actually you don't have unlocked normally. And this is kind of a preview of things to come a little bit here. I'm not really going to bother going over the controls in this game because they're different depending on what console you're playing on. This was released for the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 back in the day. So there's really no consistency of control that I can kind of refer you to. But what we're going to do is we're going to take these guys out. Get out of my way, boy. Let's take you down. There we go. Very nice. And then let's hop up here. This is a really, really cool way to begin a game, I have to say, just with this epic battle sequence.
Fight, goblins, fight!
Fight, goblins, fight! Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Playing this game brings back so many memories. This is like one of the big games I would always play as a kid. And I just played it over and over and over again. This is a level-oriented game, so once you have completed a level, you're not going to be able to go back into it. There's no level select or anything like that. It just goes through the story. And it does definitely take some liberties from the book. But in honor of having the new Hobbit movie coming out, I figured that it'd be cool to cover this game now, because I'm really excited about the movie and I'm really excited to see what they've done. And this is one of the best adaptions outside of like the actual book itself. This is one of the best adaptions of the story that I have ever experienced, and I just love this game so much. And they definitely do take some creative liberties, but they're, in the end, they're really pretty good.
Tear them apart.
And yeah, the graphics are pretty old school.
It was just a dream. Just a dream. But what an adventure.
Despite his fear, something awoke within Bilbo. He wanted to visit distant lands, explore caves, and carry a sword instead of a walking stick. To his own astonishment, Bilbo agreed to go.
And so begins probably one of my very favorite levels in this entire game, which is kind of funny because it's the very first one. An unexpected party. Now, this is going to start us off at the beginning of the book and take us all the way through the end. And we're going to definitely take some detours here and there. I'll go ahead and explain a lot of stuff as we go.
Mr. Baggins. That won't convince Thorin that you're a fierce
No, it won't,
burglar.
Bilbo. It won't convince him.
I'll show him if I have to walk to the east of East and fight the wild wereworms in the last desert.
For now, you'll just have to walk to the Green Dragon Inn. The dwarves are waiting.
But
No time for it, and no time to pack. Just fetch your walking stick. Who knows where you will end up today?
Yeah, who knows indeed. All right, start is the quest log, and there's a lot of stuff on here that we'll be doing. First off, right here you can see the main quests that you can complete, and then if you move over one, you have antidote for poisons, you have health bubbles, or health potion to restore your health bubbles. I wish they were called something else, because health bubbles just sounds kind of lame. Waters of Vigor is an awesome, awesome potion, but we don't have any of that right now. And then on the left side, you see how many keys you have. Those are skeleton keys, I believe. Yeah, skeleton keys. We get those over the course of the game. There's also a medicine chest. The size of your medicine chest determines how many potions and stuff you can have at one time. Then you have small rock bag. Rocks they're really the ranged weapons of this game. Is rocks are pretty much it. You don't have anything fancier than that. You don't get a bow or anything. But rocks end up being kind of cooler than you'd think, because there's some cool stuff that they add to them later on. And then we finally have silver pennies. This is one of the big things about all this, is that you're going to want to get as many silver pennies as possible, because with silver pennies, you can purchase upgrades and stuff like that. And if we move over this way, this will give you a level by level summary of everything there is for you to do. So for example, in this first level alone, we have 23 quests we can complete, 3 chests to open, 1,400 courage points to obtain, we'll get into that in a minute, and 100 silver pennies hidden around. To 100% the game, there's no way to go back and complete previous levels, like I said, so if you're looking to 100%, which I recommend because you can get some pretty cool stuff out of doing so, you will want to be checking this summary thing from time to time. Now, there's certain points in levels sometimes where you won't be able to go back to earlier parts of levels, and unfortunately, that's just how it is. Once you have completed an area, sometimes you just can't go back, which sucks in a way, but in other ways, it's okay. And I'm going to be going for as close to 100% as I can be, but I'm not going to guarantee that I will necessarily get 100% in everything. You know, it's kind of crazy to get all of the courage points everywhere. That thing I picked up right there, that red jewel that looked kind of like a rupee, that was a courage point. And right here is the first chest out of the 3. And we get our walking stick. This is pretty much our primary item we're going to be using.
For that. I need to go meet the dwarves.
No time for that. I need to go meet the dwarves. In his house, here in Bilbo's house, there's a lot of cool little things you can look at, like
That's my gamma Laura. She was a grub before she married a Baggins.
You can look at all these.
Good old Uncle Bingo.
You can look at all this stuff on here. Cousin Falco.
That's my gamma Laura.
Yeah, he'll go through a bunch of different stuff. What's over here? I think there's actually 1 or 2 other things we can look at while we're in the house. Here we are.
Mungo and Belladonna Baggins. A hobbit couldn't ask for finer parents.
Just a lot of cool little Easter eggs here and there you can look at in his house and in other places too. But here in the beginning, this is the first level of the game. Things are going to be a little more slow-paced, a lot more tutorial heavy for this part of the LP, and then we'll get into more of the action-packed stuff as we get into later levels that are more, well, action-packed.
Meet the dwarves at the Green Dragon Inn. Off you go, Mr. Baggins.
Okay. Now, the purpose of courage points, which I'll go over very briefly, you see the black bar above our health at the top left of the screen? That filled up very, very slightly with a bit of a blue bar. You can kind of barely see. For the courage points we get contribute toward our health. They're kind of like getting a ton of heart pieces.
What's this? My pocket has sprouted a hole. Oh, my silver pennies must be scattered all over Hobbiton.
Not only Hobbiton, they're actually going to be all over the entire game world. There's silver pennies in every single level, like I mentioned earlier. You have a bunch of different ways of getting them. Now, you can get courage points in all kinds of ways. They may be laying around like this. They may be in chests sometimes. You may have to run through some grass to grab them. For example, there's some in these bushes along here. And like I said, I'm going to be going for 100%. And what courage points do, like I said, is you see that bar at the top of the screen. as that fills up, you get closer and closer to having a health upgrade, and every health upgrade you get increases your maximum health by 1 bubble. And especially later on, that's a very good thing to have high health, just like any other game. But there's some cool stuff we can do over here. Let's go ahead and talk to this dude right here.
I was thinking about Bull Roarer 2. You know all about Bull Roarer 2, don't you?
Of course. He's my great.
He was quite an adventurous.
I love this game's sense of humor. He's my great. He was da-da-da-da-da.
Sailed through the air and went right down a rabbit hole. Well, that's where we got the game of golf.
Oh, man.
So I've heard.
Ah, Bull Roarer 2. I wish you young people knew more of your histories.
Oh, man. This game has such a great sense of humor, too. Like, if I could convince you to buy a game, I would do my best to convince you to buy this one. It's not perfect, of course. It's got plenty of flaws, and we'll be going over some of those as we go along. The camera is kind of wonky at times, which is one of those flaws I'll just mention quickly. And getting 100% can be slightly tedious because there's just so many little collectibles to grab. This is much more of a... If you mixed Donkey Kong 64 with a Zelda game, that's essentially what you would get with this game, because there's so many different kinds of collectibles and stuff like that. But this is a save pedestal right here, and that's a tiny bit of a spoiler, I guess, seeing that other save. But right here in this slot 2 is where I'm going to be saving my game mostly. Saving can take a long time sometimes, but basically I recommend you keep a huge collection of saves that you save in more than one spot, because one of the problems with this game is that it can at sometimes bug out a little bit, and you may lose a save. It's not common that happens, but every now and then that can screw up on you, and it sucks when it does. So I recommend keeping a lot of game saves handy. And right here we're going to be able to get one of those quests that it talked about earlier.
Isn't it?
Good day, Gamma.
I seem to have lost my quilting needle somewhere in town. If you find it, could you please bring it to me?
Certainly, Gamma.
Okay, so we're going to have to get her quilting needle. A lot of the stuff in this game when it comes to quests is all about collectathons, frankly.
I'm hungry. It's almost noon and I've only had 2 breakfasts. There's a lovely seed cake cooling in my windowsill. I think I'll head home for a morsel before lunch.
You do that, buddy.
Bilbo Baggins, I saw your visitor. Are you meddling with wizards?
Wizards are meddling with me.
Another lad going off into the blue for mad adventures. You might as well be some use before you go. Fetch my buttertun, please.
Where is it?
It's in the shed round the corner. Just place the butterchurn on the porch when you find it.
Okay, fine, whatever. It's not like I have to go very far to do that either. This is basically just a tutorial about how to pick stuff up. There's actually some silver pennies right over there, so let's grab that. Carrying stuff takes a little bit long, but it's not that big of a deal. So let's set that right there and talk to her again.
Thank you, Bilbo.
Thank you, Bilbo.
Have some berry crumble
And she
tea
gives
cakes.
us some
I
tea
made 'em
cakes.
fresh this morning.
Now,
Oh, and
part of the
Bilbo,
point of this whole
watch
level,
out
this
for
whole
that
first level, is that you're
wizard.
gathering supplies for your trip with the dwarves.
We need a lot of food on our journey.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of food on our journey, he says. So part of the point of this whole level is getting a lot of supplies for the journey and food and different things like that. So that is a lot of what these quests are going to be focusing on is rewards for different things are going to be food. Sometimes it'll be courage points. It just depends. But there's courage points all over the place, and they're cool because even though they're like just a random they're just a random collectible kind of thing. They're usually relatively not annoying. I mean, sometimes they can be a little annoying depending on where they're at, but let's talk to you.
Well, the best apples in all Hobbiton are in that apple orchard. I'd get some if I could climb those cliffs.
I mean, the question here is not if you can climb the cliff. The question is, why would you put an orchard on top of the cliff in the first place? I mean, I guess to keep people out, but yeah, we have a lot of Zelda elements in this game. We have block pushing. We have all kinds of stuff. What do you have to say?
I heard there was a wizard skulking around Hobbiton.
You're so annoying with the way you talk. Man. No, he's not causing any trouble. Blah, blah, blah. Put spells on the fireworks and the crops and leaves enough alone. And
I wish someone would ask him to leave.
oh my gosh, lady. Your voice is piercing my ears. Hey, okay. Whoa. Camera got a little trippy there. That's the one problem that is most consistent with this game is its kind of wonky camera angles that it'll get into. It's a little bit like Mario Sunshine in that respect, where you have complete camera control, but you can get it in some weird angles because the sensitivity of the camera control is a little weird. It's not that big of a deal, but it can occasionally be a little irritating.
No time for that.
Yeah, whatever. You need to go meet the dwarves at the Green Dragon Inn. You're only going to hear that line of dialogue 57 times in this level.
I saw a dwarf wandering around town. Did you see him? He had a beard so long he tucked it into his belt. And he was dressed so outlandishly. He must have gotten lost on his way to Bree.
Yeah, probably. He probably got lost. Or maybe he wasn't lost at all and he knew exactly where he was going. Now, let's go ahead and pull out our walking stick. And there's a couple things we can do with our walking stick. If you hold down L, you can sneak. But sneak has other purposes too, because if you're running along and then you hit L and A shortly afterward, and of course I'm using GameCube controls, so it'll be different for Xbox and PlayStation, but you can do kind of a pole vault thing, and that's an awesome way to jump around places. It's a really, really good long distance jump, and it's also a fast way to transport yourself around. It's a little annoying because you have to click it every single time you want to do it. You have to do the full button sequence. Oh,
Wanna
gosh.
play some hide and seek?
I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry.
We'll go hide. You seek. Ready?
Okay, there go all the children. Another little element from Zelda.
Children.
This is a reference to a lot of different things. Specifically, though, Majora's Mask is what's being taken off of right here. But, okay. It's actually probably faster if I just run rather than pole vaulting all the way up the mountain. But not really a mountain, but a hill. Now, if you come up here, you'll notice this gate is open, and it wasn't before. That's because one of the children is right over here. Okay. Where you at? Where you at? There you are.
How did you find me?
How did you find me? At least you don't have to chase them down in this game. like you do in Majora's Mask. You don't have to chase them down in this one. Oh, gosh. I almost glitched through there. Okay. But yeah, this is, I guess in summary, just for today, this is one of my favorite games ever. This is one of my favorite games from my childhood ever, and I love this game so much. It's definitely got some flaws. It's definitely a little bit tedious at times with its collectathoning, but it's a really, really, really fun game in general, and it's one I'm looking forward to completing this LP of and just showing off everything there is to show off. And if you can find it used, I definitely recommend picking it up. Okay, this is just going to be a tutorial about stone throwing, but we're not going to cover that today. We're going to get into that next time, okay? So, in the next episode of The Hobbit, we are going to be covering stone throwing. We're going to be continuing to collect a bunch of the stuff that's around here, hopefully find the rest of the children, and get closer to completing this level, okay, guys? So, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep your spirits up and your HP high.